Beautiful. Good morning, CTCSL. Welcome to the Connecticut Center for Spiritual Living. I'd like to take a moment and read our mission statement today so we can give our new viewers an idea more better about what we are and what we stand for. We daily practice the principles of science of mind as recorded in the Science of Mind book. We provide various opportunities through our Sunday services, our Science of Mind classes, workshops, seminars, and guest speakers for all our members, family, friends, and visitors to learn and grow. We take great pride in our beautiful center and our guest accommodations. We attract diversity and encourage creativity within our membership, enjoying love and relationships and the beauty of nature. So again, welcome. It's a brand new day. I just love that new saying now. I'm going to keep saying that. Going to have Cassie bring up our order of our service. Give her a minute to do that so we can review that so you have a better idea of what we're doing. All right, thank you, Cassie. So our first, after a few announcements that I have here, we'll have an overview of the miracle moment. We have our invocation and meditation, the definition of science of mind, and our monthly affirmation prepared by Reverend Patrick. And Susan has a special song prepared for us. Moving along, we have a reading from our Science of Mind, and then our message from Reverend Patrick, and he'll be available for questions and answers after that. We're going to do those through the chat again, and if you're commenting on Facebook, we can get those questions out there for you. And we'll go over the donation process and our peace song. So that's it. Thank you very much for that, Cassie. Appreciate that. Last week, I just shared a couple things with you that I found were profound when I found the center, and today I would just like to take a moment just to share what I felt when I came to the center. I just felt really welcomed. Everyone was so caring. It was free to be me. And for quite a long time, I was trying to be somebody else, which wasn't working out very well. So if you're joining us for the first time here, we welcome you, all religions, faiths. We're just here to grow and learn and have a better life, joyful life. So as everyone that is highlighted with the RSCP after is available as a licensed practitioner at the center, and they are available for a miracle moment, which is basically just a change your thinking, change your life is what our motto is here. And sometimes we don't really realize how little we could just change something and change the result that we're experiencing. So please reach out to us. We have our newsletter. We're available on ctcsl.org on our website. You can sign up for the newsletter and get on that list, and we'll get those out to you weekly. So just thank you for your support of the center. Have a great day. I'm going to turn it over now for our invocation.
That's me. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Jo, and thanks, Gary. I am one of the center's spiritual practitioners, and I have the privilege this morning of welcoming you. But more importantly, of reminding us why we're all here this morning. We join in the spirit of love right here, right now, to open up our individual and our collective awareness of divine truth. And I remind you that by declaring our knowingness of divine truth, we claim it for everyone, everywhere, across the globe, because there is only the one ultimate truth. That love is all there really is. In this eternal moment, across the great infinity of life, this one eternal truth is our life right now. We are here to raise our consciousness beyond our immediate physical surroundings and to open up and receive God's grace, and in doing so, become our greatest good. It is within our spiritual universe of unconditional love and infinite possibility that we know the reality of our oneness. Today, we share our belief, our experience, our knowingness with all our brothers and sisters around the world. A profound knowingness that we live in a spiritual universe, that God lives in us, around us, and through us. We remember that it is through our thoughts and actions that we are an expression of the divinity of God. We are here to sing praise to that truth. As we embody our God consciousness, we feel separation, limitation, lack, and fear melt away, evaporating into the nothingness from whence they came. We feel separation, limitation, lack, and fear melt away, evaporating into the nothingness from whence they came. And we recognize God and embody our unity with the divinity, with our unity with divine and with each other. As we accept this unconditional grace, this very stuff that life is made of, we receive infinite peace, poise, and power of the divine truth into our individual experience. We realize pure natural goodness as it flows through every thought, every heartbeat, every breath, every word, and every action. We are as an expression of the one truth, the degree that we believe it, and to the level that we embody it. Today, I declare for us the freedom to open up to divine light and love flowing within each and all of us through divine grace, knowing that this is our source, that this is our substance. And to the degree that we recognize it, believe it, embody it, and live it, it becomes our experience, the expression of who we are, and it is our truth. Remember today, as we listen to the words of Reverend Patrick, for whom I am so grateful, and to each other as we share our thoughts, our prayers, and questions, remember that we are the flow of divine grace, that we are the face of God on this earthly journey, and we express it as our knowingness, our givingness, and our lovingness. Just be present to hear the voice of truth through the words spoken today, and to be available to receive grace, goodness, gladness, and glory. Help each other to build a world that works for everyone, to honor those around the globe who gather today to pray for peace, and to look around this very gathering and feel the expression of God's grace in each and every one of us. With appreciation and great love, I thank you for being here, and I end by saying namaste. With that, I'd love to introduce Jean to do our meditation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jean Gay, a licensed practitioner here at CTCSL. This guided meditation brings us to that inner quiet space deep within. As we quiet our thoughts, we become aware of the divine presence that is right here, right now, within each of us in this moment. Let's go there now. Let us begin by closing our eyes and allowing the body to relax. Take a deep, relaxing breath. Breathing in love and peace. Breathing out any tension or worry. Take another deep, relaxing breath. Breathing in to the count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4. 2, 3, 4. And exhale to 4. 2, 3, 4. Again, let's take another deep breath. Breathing in 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. And breathing out 2, 3, 4. Return to normal breathing. Allow all the muscles in your body to relax, releasing any stiffness or discomfort. Breathe in, breathe out. Relaxing the muscles in your face, the muscles in your neck and shoulders. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax your arms, your wrists, and your fingers. Relax the muscles of your core, your legs, your feet, and your toes. Breathe in, breathe out. Imagine yourself waking up to the sound of birds chirping outside your window. They are singing their song, a song of joy and peace. You feel their joy as you turn your thoughts to joy. Feeling the vibration of life surrounding you. It is the song of gladness that sings through all manifestations of life. It is the presence of God in all things, in all of creation, in all of you. As you see and feel this God presence in this moment, you wonder if this God presence is everywhere, in all parts of the world. Imagine traveling to faraway lands, meeting people of different cultures, different ways of being. Yes, the presence of God is here also. You can see it in their faces, sad faces, happy faces. You feel their sadness. You feel their joy. You feel connected to them, feeling the oneness of all of creation. Look up at the blue sky with white clouds drifting by. Yes, this is the same as your home. Birds are chirping, singing their song, filling the sky with beauty and wonder. This is the beauty of God. This is the presence of God, and it is everywhere. God in every situation. God in every challenge. God in every joy. This is the love of God, unconditional love, bringing peace, bringing comfort and calmness. Feel the gentleness of God surrounding you right now in this moment. There is peace in knowing God is always present, always with each and every one of us as we travel this life journey. We are never alone. This divine presence is our strength, our confidence, our guidance. This is our joy and freedom to experience life, surrendering to its flow and unfoldment. There is love here. God is love, and love is all there is. When you are ready, take a breath as you open your eyes, wiggle your fingers and toes. Come back into the room and feel the love of everyone here, sending you love in this moment. Namaste. And now it is my pleasure to turn the service over to Bob.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Good, because I have a delay. My head moves like 2 seconds after I move it. So welcome, because it doesn't matter the images on the screen. What matters is that we're here now in this spirit of love. And so welcome, because this is why we're here, to understand and to work with love as the great guide to this wonderful mind. The science of mind, as a definition, the science of mind is based entirely on the supposition that we are surrounded by a universal mind into which we think. This mind in its original state fills all space with its presence, presence with a capital P. Since it fills all space, it fills the space that man uses in the universe. It is in man as well as outside of him. As he or she thinks into this universal mind, we set in motion a law which is creative and which contains within itself limitless possibility. So this awesome power is available to us right now as we're thinking and gathering in this spirit of love. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Mary Jo. Thank you, Gary. Part of what we do, if you're new to the science of mind, I can only see 9 people on my screen, but we practice affirmations. And if Cassie would bring that up, we can say that together and internalize these words, because this is the spirit that we want to be present with a capital P, and recognize it. Affirmation for May 2021. Today, I openly invite thoughts and ideas of the goodness of life to flood my mind and thinking patterns. Knowing that our thoughts are things, I am consciously open to receive and experience perfect health, wisdom, and vitality to guide and direct my life. The experience of the peace of God, the wisdom of God, the love of God, the vitality and aliveness of God are flooding my consciousness as the joy and beauty of aliveness flows with ease and consistency through me. I know that I am one with and one of the great one creator and sustainer of life in this wonderful universe in which I live and move through as an original representation of God and the goodness of life. And so I let it be, and so it is. And if there are any first-time folks visiting, let me just scroll my screen here and see how many there are. If you're here for the first time, just say hello. You can wave or you can unmute yourself if Cassie's aware you're here. And so I'm so glad everyone's here. And the next thing we have on our program is Susan with some special music that she's prepared for us.
Hello, everybody. So Cassie can bring up the lyrics for us. This is called A World Awakening, and I just love the lyrics to this. It's so appropriate for this time that we're living in, that I would probably say at least 99.9% of us never thought would happen, a worldwide pandemic, and never thought we'd live through one. But this is just very appropriate for that because we are a world awakening to new ideas, new love, new tomorrows. And so please sing along with me. No more fighting, hearts uniting, all one people, all one dream. Hate is dying, love is rising on a world awakening. Children of one God, one planet, let the earth and heaven sing. Join the angels, joyous strains for a world awakening. For a world awakening. For a world awakening. One day all the world is watching. Time weaves us a common theme. Peace our anthem, all are welcome in a world awakening. New ideas and new beginnings, that's what each tomorrow brings. Freely giving, we are living in a world awakening. For a world awakening, hate is dying, love is rising. For a world awakening. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, no, that's the kind of feelings I want to have all day long. The reading today in the Science of Mind, the work of Ernest Holmes, comes from the Bible New Testament from Matthew chapter 6, verse 14. And it's talking about how God forgives. We are told God will forgive us after we have forgiven others. This is a direct statement and one that we should ponder deeply. Can God forgive until we have forgiven? If God can work for us only by working through us, then this statement of Jesus stands true and is really a statement of the law of cause and effect. We cannot afford to hold personal animosities or enmities against the world or individual members of society. All such thoughts are outside the law and cannot be taken into heavenly consciousness. Love alone can beget love. People do not gather roses from thistles. And I'm also reminded of a statement by Ernest Holmes that I have used is, if you don't love everyone, begin immediately. And now we're going to play a little bit of music and have Reverend Patrick's message for the day. And thank again for all you. We'll meet later in the service. Maybe Susan's not going to play. Then we'll have Reverend Patrick.
Reverend Patrick, please unmute.
I guess I was muted. Not a good time to be muted. Thank you, Bob, and thank you, everyone, for a wonderful introduction to the Sunday, because our Sundays are really the experience, the open door, the invitation for your stepping in and stepping into a deeper way of life and a wonderful experience. So today our topic is, this too is God. So I want to welcome each of you to the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought, the conception that we live in a spiritual universe and that God is around us, in us, and for us, and there is nothing against us. Dr. Holmes says spirituality is natural goodness. God is not a person. God is a presence personified in us. I love that definition of spirituality. It's natural goodness and recognizing that God is not a person. We cannot make God a human because God is way above the idea of love. Love is unconditional, pure, unconditional love. God is peace beyond human understanding. God is omnipresent, and that omnipresence means no one else is like that. How can you not fall in love with a God that loves you with all itself and all that power of love and life? So I'd like to take you through what the science of mind is, another definition. I know a definition was read. We have 3 or 4 different ways, different definitions of the science of mind. It says it is a correlation of the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, and the revelation of religion applied to human need and the aspirations of humankind. The first principle of the science of mind is God. And here's how we explain what we believe about God briefly. That is, we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible and self-existent God. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but it's not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. End of quote on that one. That was a definition also given by Dr. Holmes, our founder. So today our topic, this too is God, has some additional reading just so that you have a better background about where we're going with this. And I quote from The Science of Mind, as written by Dr. Ernest Holmes. He says, it is quite a burden lifted when we realize that we do not have to move the world. It is going to move anyway. He says, this realization does not, I'm going to emphasize that, This realization does not lessen our duty or social obligation. It clarifies it. It enables us to do joyously and free from morbidity that which should in the social state, that which we should be in the social state. So if it clarifies what you should be in a social state, are you clear, or do you have lots of questions about where you should be in a social state? Anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that. So with this in mind, and believing in that there's an infinite law of the spirit or law of life, which tends to multiply our gifts, because in doing so, it multiplies its own experience, its own pleasure, its own fruition. We may assume that spiritual man is already a success, is already supplied with everything that he needs. The potential of all things exists in the universal wholeness. That was written in the Science of Mind. You could find that on pages 270 and 271. So we are called to be mindfully attentive to the conditions of our world with compassion and with caring. Yes, we are called to be mindfully attentive to the conditions of our world with compassion and with caring action. We can become active in the social state with the inner urge and calling we feel today. What calling are you feeling today to be an active spiritual presence in the world? I don't expect you to answer the question audibly. I expect that would cause you to think about yourself in the social context. What do you do for you? What do you do for the world? How are you representing what you believe that you are an individuation of God? If you are an individuation of God, which is true because if you look in the Bible, it would say that God made us in his own image and likeness. That means you are an individualized point of God in the world, in the universe. So we are called to be mindfully attentive to the conditions of our world with compassion and with caring action. We can become active in the social state with the inner urge and calling we feel today. Do you have an inner urge? Do you feel called to do something in the social state? We can set up things like prayer vigils. We can offer free or low-cost spiritual counseling. We can reach out to people who seem confused or who are interested in finding out what true spiritual practice is. Not pretentious, true spiritual practice. What is calling you into the world? What is calling you to act in some kind of social service? Some people ask me, is this spiritual or secular activity? Because people want to know, where do we stand with that? Everything is spiritual. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. Your activity in that human experience with the consciousness that you are an individuation of God, that's all spiritual. It's not secular, it's spiritual. What you are doing to help someone is a spiritual practice. What you're doing to prepare to help someone is a spiritual practice. What you're doing to be thankful for having helped someone is a spiritual practice. Think about that. Think about how many ways in which you being a spirit, having a human experience, your spirit embodies the human experience. That's why we believe when you die, that's not the end of you. That's a new beginning. You open the door to infinity, to the experience of infinity. So when I wrote here that we can become active in the social world with an inner urge and a calling to feel day to day, we can set up all kinds of ways in which to help. Some people are really concerned. Are we really spiritual? Yes, we are. Truth is, there is no separation. All is spirit. God is in it all the time, because God is omnipresent. So you cannot go anywhere in the world where God is not. And you know, the Apostle Paul knew that, and he said, if I go into the bowels of hell, thou art there. Wow. No one has ever made such a bold statement about the omnipresence of God. Paul, an apostle, a follower of Jesus, he says, if I go into the bowels of hell, God, thou art there. Wow. Truth is there. No separation. It's all spiritual. God is in it all the time. It's all God. That's why we say that all the time. We say that a lot. It's all God. It's all God. Casually, we say it's all God, but we don't realize the depth of that statement. We don't realize that we have said that universal truth that can never be less than the full truth about God, because God is omnipresent. We are really sowing seeds when we act with love and attention. We are sowing seeds that can bear fruit in wonderful ways of peace, social justice, racial justice, all of that. When we act towards that with an open heart, with the love of the divine in us, we are sowing seeds. You know, our home office is in Colorado, and they have a department. It's called Centers for Spiritual Living. And they have something called their Social Engagement Committee. Can you believe that? Home office has a group called the Social Engagement Committee that puts out written statements on a regular basis about any position, political or not, taken in the world today. This is not to talk about something that we talk about a lot. In fact, a lot of places, a lot of churches, even some of our centers, avoid making any statement that suggests there is an interest in the social state. Even in some political points, some political decisions that are made, our home office would put out a statement where we stand regarding that particular decision. You see, we have to realize God is present everywhere, because this too is God. You cannot be alive without God. You cannot be on this Zoom call without God. This too is God. Think about it. You can't go anywhere where God is not. You can be as rotten as possible, but God has never deserted you. I love a God like that. That's my God, that will never desert me, that will never condemn me, that will love me in spite of myself, that will always be present for me when I call, when I pray, when I turn to it. That's it. It's God there. God is there. realize God is present everywhere. Omnipresence is very much alive and is the one true reality. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. If God was not present in our human life, think about this. If God was not present in our human life, we would have no contrast to define our actions and our issues. In other words, we wouldn't know whether we're doing right or wrong if God was not present. Think about that. That's our guide. God's wholeness and love and compassion is our guide. Our global heart statement quite loudly states this, quote, a world that works for everyone, unquote. That's part of our global heart statement. Home Office is very interested in environmental, civic, and political issues and conditions. It's all God. The activity is on sowing spiritual seeds, not trying to become political, but having an interest in political decisions that affect lives. That's what we're interested in, to make sure that we help people to realize their spiritual magnificence and not to feel separate and condemned and going to some terrible place called hell where God can be. I'm so excited about this topic because God, you can't go anywhere where God is not. You could go under the bed, you could go in a hole, you could go in a cave, you could go underwater, you could fly up with the highest plane flight. You cannot leave the presence of God. This is just incredible. The spiritual universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. It is out of the spiritual universe that the universe, the physical universe, finally came. Out of the spiritual universe comes the physical universe. So you know what? Whether you like it or not, you're living in the result of the spiritual universe. Do you believe we can help make the world a better place? I don't see any heads nodding. Do you believe that we could help the world to be a better place? Yes, yes, we can. The science of mind believes when we become better people, we will automatically create a better world. This is God in action. It's all God, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. It's all God. Remember, never forget this. The next thing you do is a movement of the spirit. If you get up to get some water to drink, you are moved by the spirit. If you cook dinner, you are being moved by the spirit. If you welcome a stranger, you are moved by the spirit. If you give someone a hug to encourage them and to help them to feel a sense of aliveness, you are moved by the spirit. Don't forget this. When we become better people, we will have a better world. In fact, Dr. Holmes says we will have a better God as soon as we become better people. You see, God has given us the power, created in the image of itself, in an image and likeness of itself. That means that we can create our world because God created the world, the universe. But you are a universe within the universe because you have a world that you circulate in. We need to wake up to this wonderful truth. We really need to wake up to this wonderful truth. My former religion did not believe the basics that I'm talking about here today. And it's a big religion. It's still alive and well, but I am in the science of mind, finding the happiest, most joyful, the deepest truth that enriches my life, that makes me want to say, thank you, God, every breath I take, that make you want to say, oh God, I'm in love with you. I cannot live without you. My life is your life is my life. Hopefully, when we are asked what we believe, we will have an answer from now on, because you know the answer. You don't have to repeat exactly what I said. You can formulate in your own mind what all of this means to you, and then that's your answer. The answer is usually what we feel and are convicted about in this incredible spiritual philosophy called science of mind. What do you feel? What are you convicted about? That's what you say. That's what we believe. The science of mind is a correlation of the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, the revelation of religion applied to human need, and the aspirations of humankind. That's one of the best definitions that I have found throughout reading the science of mind. So, beloved people, friends, go out, have an active, loving day with your family and friends, letting you light and shine up the world, that all may see it and make God the number one driving energy in your life. That's what we are called to do. I'm just reminding you. I'm not preaching to you. I'm just reminding you. Because I know, try it. I find it a happy place to sit, to stand, to move, and to think. Life is God and God is life. Let's make the world a better place, peopled with better people. And so it is. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making this a great day in your life and in my life. And I love you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Reverend Patrick. We do have a question came in. Can you say more about the inner calling and the presence of God?
The inner calling and the presence of God. The inner calling is something that comes to you in your mind, in your thought, that says, there's something bigger than myself, wiser than myself, that wants to use me. There's something that is really alive that wants to guide me. You begin to feel that. You get an urge. And if you get an urge to act in a beneficial way to our fellow man, to the world, to the universe, that's a sacred calling, folks. So this is a very good question. But what we have to do is listen. Listen for it. Listen, and in the inside, not with the outer ear. Listen with the inner ear, the heart, at the heart level, not the intellectual level. The intellect is important, but it's full of analysis and finding fault. Listen to what's pure inside of you and answer to that. Say yes to God. Okay, thank you. Any other questions somebody may have? Bob, I see Bob waving. I see Anne. Who wants to go first? I'll let Gary manage that.
We need you to put those in the chat room, please.
Okay, there are 5 people in the chat room now. Good. Questions in the chat room. Anyone else have a question I can chat with you today a little bit?
Yep, I don't see any more right now. Nice comment by Liz. Love, I'm not preaching to you. I'm just reminding you. I love that.
Yeah, yes. All right, well, let's have a prayer.
Yeah.
Let's have a prayer. Close your eyes. The reason we close our eyes when we pray is so that our minds won't drift into what we see. Because every time you see something, you want to name it. Every time you see something, you want to give it a name or you want to say what it is. So that's a distraction. When we close our eyes, we open without obstruction into the openness of the mind of God. So when you close your eyes now, and silently repeat this prayer as I say it, word after word after word, because that makes it your prayer. It's not my prayer. It is our prayer. Let us begin. I recognize there is one life, the life that is the life of all life, the life that is God, the presence that is God. I recognize that presence right now. It is infinite wisdom. It is omnipotent power. It is unconditional love. That's the presence I recognize right now. And I unify with it because I am made out of it. I am made in its image and likeness. I am one of it. And as a microcosm of that one, I am blessed to embody this realization and to stand with a consciousness and a conviction that God is never absent in my life. Even when I forget, even when I sink into the lowest discouragement or fear, I know God is present and never deserts me. And this is what allows me to live a life of peace, happiness, joy, and fulfillment. I declare this for everyone today. I accept it for myself, and I offer it to be accepted by all those who are listening and hearing the sound of my voice, understanding the concepts of the prayer. It's a prayer of oneness. Now I invite each person here today to experience something wonderful in your body. Right now, if there is any part of your body that is in pain, that hurts, that needs to be well, I want you to place your hand, your dominant hand, over that spot, just for a point of focus. The hand, the touch is meaningless. It's the focus that it brings. Place your hand there right now. Remember that you have just directed as you touch that place or cover that place with your hand. You have just directed the life of God to flow in there with its healing power, with its power to set things right and in harmony with life. Every organ, every action, every function of your body moves to the rhythm of life and wholeness right now. I know that about myself. I declare it for you. I give thanks for the opportunity to offer this as a prayer of affirmation, not a prayer of beseechment, a prayer of affirmation, a prayer that affirms the goodness of God expressing itself in my life, in my body, in my affairs, in my thinking, in my thought patterns, and in my actions. I give thanks for the opportunity to declare this, to announce it, and to let it take place by opening to the answer, not in contradiction, but in harmony. I allow this to unfold now with peace and love and grace, declaring that it is all good, because this is God. This too is God in action. And so it is. Amen. I tell you, I said that, and you know what happened? I feel straight as a pin right now. My body is lined up. I didn't intend that that was going to happen, but I declared it was, and it happened. Feel completely lined up. How are you doing? I
Feel
see
very well.
Susan
Very
has
well.
hands up. Hands up. Yes,
I
look
love
at
resting in
look
your
at
words.
look at that. That is what we mean when we speak and open to the fullness of the realization of the presence of God, the presence of unconditional love. Think about that. You are sitting right now in the fullness of unconditional love. It's like God sitting in you as you. Wow. This too is God. Take that saying for yourself. This too is God. When you cook your dinner tonight, you know what? Look in the pot and say, this too is God. Not meaning that God's died and was cooked, but the activity that made it good and delicious and made it happy and looking forward to is God. The energy that made it cook just right for you is God. This is a topic I could talk about all day long for the next 12 months.
I'd be willing to listen.
Well, thank you all so much for being present. And I'll let Gary take charge of the rest of the program with you.
Oh, I'd just like to thank you and ask you if you could do our giving prayer. This is usually the time in the service where we receive and give the gifts that we offer to the center.
And so we invite you to help us out to continue doing this, to contribute some money. We'd like to know that we can continue to do this. And we are looking forward to the time when we can go back into meeting live in face to face. So take your offering in your hand, or whatever it is that you want to give. If you are writing a check, make it out to CTCSL, and it'll be available to us. Gary will give you the P.O. Boxes 1261, Middletown, Connecticut. So take the offering and hold it against your chest like this. And say after me, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give. Thank you, God, in me. And so it is. Amen. And now put that gift in an envelope and send it to P.O. Box 1261. And we will thank you, and we already thank you. ahead of time for supporting Science of Mind in Connecticut.
Right.
I'm so glad I
Thank
found
you.
this philosophy.
Thank you. Susan will lead us in our peace song now, and after the peace song, we have another poll question for everyone. So please stay.
Okay.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now, right now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Thank you, Susan. You know, they sing that peace song at a lot of different occasions, not just Science of Mind. I've seen the peace song sung at other places, in other occasions, outside of church. It's not a religious song. It's a song of affirmation. Okay.
I was going to say we could pull that poll up. I was going to have Bob do it. I'm sorry, Bob. It's just between the two of us, we have a polling question. So, like last week, you can click on yes or no.